welcome to Binge Buddies, new season, no wrong time to rock. With me, your host, is always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog Enchantress, Dykes.
Ooh. Do I have to do that weird dance thing that she does?
I mean, when I see the Enchantress do that weird dance, I immediately think of you, so yes.
Okay, cool. I'm doing it now. Can you see? Can you
I
see
can hear
this
it.
audio-only medium?
Yep, and it looks great. We have Joel, Plastic Man DeWitte.
I don't enchant. These aren't actually in Suicide Squad, right? There's like so many people in this movie that you should tell me she is, and I'd believe.
So Enchantress is in the first Suicide Squad film, the god awful one.
Yeah.
That's what the dance thing was about. That was mentioned.
And Plastic Man is.
Plastic Man is from Flash. Don't worry, I'm just going to be I'll tell you the theme in a moment, because we still have to introduce our new co-host, Mr. Alex Nebula Man Orona.
Hey, what's going on, guys? And let's not talk about Plastic Man. He is problematic.
Well, the actor is. The character's still fine.
Yeah, the character's fine.
So the theme for this show will be obscure DC characters. Some of these will be a little less obscure because they've been shoved into movies for some strange reason, but that's kind of the theme. And Plastic Man isn't really that obscure. I'm trying to start things off.
He's Stretch Armstrong. That's what he is. Got it.
He's yeah.
Sadly, there's been two of those kinds of guys.
And wait. Plastic Man, were you thinking Elongated Man? Because he is a problematic actor. Plastic Man has not been cast.
Okay, there we go.
Plastic Man's the good one. He's the one that I love. He's actually one of my favorite characters. That's why I'm surprised I got myself confused for a moment there.
Okay, there we go. Oh, so yeah, it's Elongated Man.
Yeah, Elongated Man has that douchebag actor attached. Plastic Man, I don't even know who could play him, but he's really cool. You should look into him. You should look at all these characters I'm bringing up, because I'm bringing only characters that I enjoy that I don't see represented in ways that I would enjoy. Does that make sense? Even if it doesn't, I'm going to keep doing it. So hi and welcome to the new show.
I mean, I'm just like now Googling who played Elongated Man because I want to find out why he's so problematic.
There's another one of those, like, he made asshole jokes on Twitter and didn't really know how to back down from them. One of those, like, victim of things I don't like naming because the right has gone and ruined them.
Cancel culture.
Oh, how dare you!
How dare you! How dare you fire me for saying racist?
I'm so triggered. You said the phrase.
I'm just looking up weird DC characters. I'm looking up Kite Man.
Kite Man just got his own show, and I am so excited for it. He's playing a bartender. It's a spinoff of the Harley Quinn show. I can't explain how happy I am for Kite Man to get his own show.
Oh my god, Kite Man and Harley Quinn was awesome.
So amazingly good. But anyhow, the new show, if you are listening to the end of the last show, will be on Peacemaker. But much like when we did What We Do in the Shadows, there was a movie that came out that I feel you kind of need to watch before diving into the show. And I think it's actually more crucial to Peacemaker than it was to What We Do in the Shadows.
Well, Peacemaker literally starts with previously on the Suicide Squad. So.
Yeah, that's a big tip-off. But because of that, we are going to review at least a little bit of the Suicide Squad today. That we're going to try to stick as much to Peacemaker as we can, but since Peacemaker is just another character in this movie, he's far and away not the main character. Like, he's not even in the last act. We're going to kind of just review the movie as it is, because it does kind of set the tone for like the brand of comedy moving forward throughout the rest of this episode, the rest of this show, even if they are vastly different in like execution. I don't want to say tone, because tone's actually pretty close, but they're very, very different, especially when you watch them back to back like I did. And I think Joel did too. I watched the movie. When the movie ended, I put on the first episode. I'm like, these are shockingly similar, but also extremely different.
Well, I watched the Suicide Squad with my girlfriend, and basically I said, should we watch Peacemaker as well? It was like, yeah, okay. She really enjoyed the film. So like, okay, we'll give Peacemaker a go. We watched like 3 episodes in one night because it sort of carried on really well, but also tonally, it's just very, very close, I think.
Yeah.
It's a great follow-on.
What about you, Joel? You rolled right into it, right?
I did. I can sort of see what you mean in terms of tone. It has that sort of wacky, I don't know if irreverence, right? The humor. Peacemaker is very much the same character in that
Yeah.
way. It's just, I think the focus is what's mainly different. You know, that you've got the support group that gets a lot more front and center, and you get to know them a little better, where they were really just sort of side characters meant to, you know, be, I guess, sort of like the NASA equivalent of like ground control.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's funny watching the Suicide Squad. I'm like, oh look, James Gunn found a way to put his girlfriend in this show. And then watching the Peacemaker, I'm like, oh, his girlfriend's actually a good actor. And I think
Which one
now,
is
I
his
think they got
girlfriend?
engaged
Yeah, I
or
think
they're
I'm going
married.
to say I think she's wife. Harcourt.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think they're married now, or they might just be engaged because I follow both of them on Instagram. They're get this, they're pretty funny.
Really? No.
I know that's a shocker. I know. I don't mean to catch everyone off guard, but no, they're pretty funny. But I think we should get started. You guys ready to dive in?
I am
Yeah.
ready.
All right, so we're going to treat this kind of like we do the episodes where we kind of just move through the movie. I'm going to try to go through my notes as much as I can. I've seen this movie, I think 9 times now, which is a little bit... If I didn't have a kid, that number would be much higher, but I still think for having a kid and this movie not even being out for a full year, it's still a pretty high number. And
Yeah, I
my
think
notes
I'm right there
still...
with you.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it 4 times.
Okay. So, or except for Joel, we're all pretty familiar with it. I say that because I've seen this movie so many times, and my notes still have huge gaps where I just get sucked in the movie and I stop taking notes.
Yeah. There was a
Which
few
is,
times where I had to, like, you know, focus on taking notes and be like, no, just write that down, because there's a few large gaps as well where I was just watching the film.
Yeah, this has that ability to just get me completely sucked in, which is, I think, one of the biggest compliments I can give a movie, especially a comic book movie anymore.
I will say that, like, the reason why I like this iteration is that it does a really good job of, like, one of the things that the first movie kind of put out there was the fact that these people can die, and these characters can just be kind of killed off at a moment's notice, so you really shouldn't get too attached. And then this one just kind of from the jump really, like, introduces a whole set of characters, and then kind of just like instantly kills them off.
Are you saying that you should be detachable from the characters?
Fantastic.
Like, I remember when that first poster came out and had all the actors on there, and like just the tagline, "Don't get attached." I'm like, oh, fuck. They are gonna murder everyone, and then they really do. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even make it to the beach before the first character dies.
Yeah.
Although we find out he doesn't die, but
That was so fucking funny, though.
oh my god! Like, I watched this thing when it hit HBO Max at midnight, and it starts with like a very James Gunn open, which I appreciate. You know, he kills a bird. James Gunn hates birds. We all know this.
That was mean.
It wasn't it? And then it's not done. They're still going to kill a whole flock of birds later in the movie. Like,
Right.
James Gunn hates birds. But anyhow, so like it's getting going, and like it feels very James Gunn. This is the Suicide Squad. Oh, look, Rick Flagg's back. We got Harley Quinn. We got Boomerang. And it's like, okay, I've watched the trailer enough. Like, I'm guessing, like, I've seen the 2 separate, like, team-up walking shots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking all these guys are probably going to die. But, yeah, I'm in for it. Let's see how it goes. Because Harley Quinn is here, and I know Rick Flag is here, so some of them might make it out. We'll see. And as I'm watching it, and just badass intro, and then, splash! It just does it so well.
The thing that tops that off for me, though, is the look on Rick Flag's face when he's like, "Did anyone check if the weasel could swim?" And then it cuts to Amanda Waller slowly looking.
That poor John Economos, like,
Oh.
like, I know Economos thinks that he has to do the Peacemaker mission because the whole coup at the end of this movie. I still think it's because of Weasel.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway, he's like the Jar Jar Binks. He technically started everything.
yeah.
Hmm.
But man, like that, such a good way to like really get this ball rolling, because then it's not done after that. The entire beach sequence, which I didn't look up how long it took to film, but I'm guessing it took ages. Like, that is a full blown, like, war sequence.
It's
it's
mini,
just so awesome.
It's mini Normandy. That's really all.
Yeah.
And on the 4K Blu-ray, 'cause it's got like an Atmos soundtrack, and I've got a sound bar that's got like it does the surround sound thing. I won't go into basically it's got Atmos surround sound, and my god, that sequence sounds incredible. Like the sound literally moves through the speakers, and you do feel like you are there because of the way that the sound design is. It is so well shot, and it's so well, cut in terms of like the audio mixing as well. It's fucking phenomenal.
But just from the moment like Mongol jumps on the helicopter, like I've played this in a few theaters because I can't really say what my job is, but I work in movie theaters, and I use that sequence to test Atmos, because when you hear that flying around, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like the amount of immersion in it, and like it's just so incredibly violent, but like it just sucks you into the movie immediately. And that's with like all of it like together. Like my wife hates Pete Davidson. He just drives her up the fucking wall. Like it's not one of those like I think he's a bad guy. Well, like she's not like on like that internet tirade. It's just like, no, I don't like his brand of humor and he annoys me. So like when I told her he was in this movie, she's like, I don't want to, like, it's James Gunn, it's DC, I want to see it, but I don't want to watch a Pete Davidson movie. So when I watch it at midnight, I'm like, you're gonna be fine.
It's like, you'll enjoy it a lot, actually.
So maybe I didn't understand it right.
Explode.
Is that whole sequence he turned on the Suicide Squad? Is that what happened? He like
right? So
Yeah,
I think he was told by Waller to turn on them, because the whole point of it is that team is essentially a distraction, so the other real team can get in.
But I don't think he's smart enough to know that it is a distraction. I think he was told by her to turn on them.
Yeah.
Period. And he was dumb enough to go along with it.
Personally, I don't think Waller told him to, because I don't like Waller wouldn't show her cards that much because he's a betrayer. Like that's his thing. He will betray you. If she told him to do this, he'd out her.
Oh,
I think she just put him on the team because she knew he'd do this.
I didn't realize that his thing was to just betray people. So
that's that's not Blackguard. Like none of these characters are super comic book accurate beyond the few. But that's my take on Blackguard, because the way that I know Amanda Waller very well, because I've read countless comics with her and I've seen the movies. I love Amanda Waller, one of my favorite characters of all time. But she's usually the smartest person in every room. So that's where I think it'd be a bad move for her to be like, hey, betray the team. But it would be very Amanda Waller, like, put him on the team. He's a liability.
Yeah, find someone who would just betray them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Blackguard seemed to be, I'm not going to call him Blackguard. Pete Davidson seemed like the right guy for that job. But I love that intro, too. Like, it's just like, as soon as he stands up, it's like, oh, here we go. Like,
yeah.
This is over, and he's just ruining it. Like, he's fucked.
It's like, hey, I called you, and then all of a sudden that bullet comes in, just literally, just his face just goes. Poof.
Oh, that is probably one of the most gruesome things that happened. It's right off the bat. It's smushed in with an indentation, and it's close up, and it rivals the Phantasm drill. It's terrible.
It does. It's a good transition out of Phantasm.
Well, that's the thing as well. It's kind of like, because the first Suicide Squad film was very PG-13. It's very bloodless kind of thing, and
very
like,
safe.
Yeah, and now I think like DC's trying to, like, it's getting a bit of balls to sort of like, no, we're going to do some like hard R-rated films and stuff like that. We're going to push the envelope of what a comic book film is a bit more, and like that sort of like just the amount of blood and gore that's in that first opening sequence is just like, it's basically saying, yeah, you thought this was that Suicide Squad? No, this is this Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, and then
it's Suicide Squad.
It's the Suicide Squad.
There you go. The only problem I have with it, and it's probably because I don't hate the first movie as much as I think I'm supposed to. I don't like it. It's not a very good movie, but it's also not my least favorite.
It's just messy, I think. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a total
I've watched it like 6 times.
It's not great.
I've watched it that many times, but I watched it because we recorded a podcast on it however many years ago that was.
Yeah. That was like the first ATH episode you were on? One of them?
No, it wasn't the first. It was the first one that I was on where we were recording remotely, I think.
That sounds right. Anyhow,
go listen to it. It was good. It's good fun.
It was a very fun episode. But in Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad, I thought one of the best characters was Boomerang, which I would never expect out of Jai Courtney, because I don't really like Jai Courtney. He kind of like, usually when I see him on a cast list, I go, uh-oh. But I was excited that James Gunn hired him back. I'm like, oh, awesome, Boomerang. Like, he was actually good. Like, he got that character, he got the comic, he got this world. Like, he's a good one to bring back. And then I saw which TV is on. I'm like, oh, he's gonna go.
Yeah, that was a real bummer for
Boomerang.
me. He was one of my favorite guys in the last one, and I think I like that character in the comics as well. Just like Captain Boomerang, it's very silly, and yet like they actually gave him like a personality and made him like a cool person. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Oh no.
Yep. Oh, you're on the wrong plane, buddy. But at least they gave him one really cool moment. Like, I liked his Boomerang shot. Like, they did like showcase him well. Like, James Gunn went, oh, if I was going to use Boomerang, he would have been cool, but I'm also just going to have him get hit by shrapnel and then get blown up by a helicopter. So,
and then ripped apart by the blades as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to make sure everybody
killed him
knows.
to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to show his hand later, like as a severed arm. Like, we want you to know Boomerang is fucking dead.
Yeah. His burnt, crispy hand.
I think out of all the, let's say, cannon fodder, TDK might be sort of my favorite of the bunch. I mean, number one, the whole like sequence in the airplane where they're trying to ask him what TDK means. He's just like, TDK. No. And then they get to the ground, and now I'm forgetting what it stands for. The
Detachable kid.
Detachable kid.
Yeah.
And then they figure it out, and he detaches his arms, and it's slapping.
It's like he's so
just because
building up to this big amazing thing, and then he just literally goes tick, 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 and like the soldier's like, ah, fuck it, get off me.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, like, that's the thing I like about some of these superhero movies, where you realize that like there is some sort of realism to it. Like, yeah, he can detach his arms. That doesn't mean he's super strong as well.
Yeah.
He's just got detachable arms. What could you do with them? Probably the same that he could do.
And then
I mean, you mentioned like when they're talking about his name in the in the planes. I just love the way when Javelin goes, your name are letters, and then Boomerang just like, all names are letters, dickhead.
Yeah. That might be up there in quotes for this movie. And then when he's getting killed, and they're just shooting his arms, and he's writhing on the ground screaming. And it's like, that'd be what happens.
To be fair, during what I'm going to bring up next, because I think where we're transitioning is one of my favorite things in the entire movie. But when they're going over all the characters on the beach who died, he is listed as MIA.
Yeah.
No, he's listed as critical, I think.
Oh, critical. That's right.
Because it cuts to him a close up of his face, and he coughs a load of blood out.
Yeah, I think he survived. Like, and I think James Gunn even said he survived, but he doesn't have any arms. His arms are Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Well, he'll just find some others that he can attach.
Yeah, but moving out of the beach sequence, you know, everyone dies. They show you like Rick Flag and Harley Quinn get blown up by a rock, but you don't see them die. You know they're going to be fine. But everyone else kind of either gets died or, you know, is taken out of the picture. And then we get our first one of what I want to bring up is like the like they're almost like comic book cover title cards. And you get them throughout the entire movie. The first one you get is like, all right, so Team A is they're getting slaughtered. All right, Team B, you're good to go. And you have Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2, Peacemaker, King Shark, Polka Dot Man, all walking out of the beach in that perfect like Dirty Dozen like, you know, triangle, and you get that first title card of the Suicide Squad, and then it just launches into that song of These Are People Who Died, and you see them all exchanging money from the bets they were taking earlier for who's gonna make it.
Oh, I love that. I love that sequence.
It might be
Amanda
one of
Waller
my
walks
favorite
in on
intros to a
them.
movie ever. Like, it's so good.
It's great where Amanda Waller's like just like walks in on them while they're making the bets, like, yeah, well, that's all that work stuff there.
Again, I just love that, like, the realism there, because like that's what would happen. You would have people making bets on these
100%.
people's lives without.
If you're like the control, like the ground control, as it were, for a team nicknamed the Suicide Squad, you're taking bets on who dies and who dies first.
Right, because you don't give a shit about them. They're not humans.
You might
at
even be
that
taking
point.
bets
They're-
on how they die as well.
Yeah. I mean, they're chess pieces on a board to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, Cabin in the Woods, right? They're placing bets on what.
That's where I was
monsters are
going
gonna
to with it too. Like, I assume James Gunn is a fan of Cabin in the Woods. But then we start meeting the main characters of the movie, which is the Suicide Squad, not the B team. And we get Bloodsport, and it's like, hey kids, look, it's not Will Smith, but everything else is pretty much the same. Which I'm cards on the table, I'm fine with. I actually think Idris Elba having his own character was the right call, and I think having it be Bloodsport was also the right call, and I really enjoyed his take on it. But we get him.
I like how he had his like a British accent as well. It's like, because for the longest time I didn't realize that Idris Elba was British, because I first saw him in The Wire. So I was like, when I first heard him with a British accent, I was like, what the fuck? That sounds so weird. But
now,
it works so well for Bloodsport, I think.
It does.
Now, I don't know these characters very well, but one thing I loved about him is in prison, like when his daughter shows up, he doesn't pretend to try to be a good person or a good father. And he's very clearly aware of who he is. And a lot of times movies like this, they'll try to show like that little glimmer of hope or heart, and he just squashes it like a bud. Like, I am a bad person. I'm not a good father. The best thing I can do as a father is to tell you to stay the fuck away from me.
And like, he's such a child. Like when he's saying "fuck you" to his daughter, "fuck you."
Yeah.
I love that bit where it's like, I don't care. I don't only care that you got caught. I care that you got caught for saying something as stupid as a fucking TV watch. And then his daughter's
It
like,
does
it does
other
other things too.
See, that was like part of the issue with the first Suicide Squad, with them trying to play it safe. That's like Will Smith's character is supposed to be a lot like Bloodsport, but they gave him that like glimmer of hope and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is better. Now, I think, Joel, to your comment, I think you're really not supposed to know a lot of these characters, and that's why it's kind of funny. What was Bloodsport's power? I don't remember at this exact second.
Guns.
He's
Yeah,
just
guns.
he's really good with guns.
Yeah, he's almost the same as like Deadshot. Like they're just really good at shooting shit.
Okay.
And Peacemaker.
The difference is that story that he shot Superman with the kryptonite bullet is a true Bloodsport story. That is a comic.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't really know much else about him. Like that's kind of what I liked about this thing. Is like I'm a pretty big DC fan, and most of these characters, I mean, the ones that exist anyways, because Ratcatcher 2 is not actually a DC character. They made her for the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was real for some reason.
Ratcatcher is, but Ratcatcher 2, I mean, unless I'm wrong, but when I was looking it up, because I don't remember Ratcatcher 2, and I thought she was a creation for the movie, and I'm like, that's fine. That makes sense. But either way, if I'm wrong on that, that even goes more to my point of like, they did a very good job of picking interesting characters that I don't know much about and put them in this movie and made them that much more interesting. Like Polka Dot Man is a nothing character, and they went and made something amazing with him here.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a superhero.
A motherfucking super. Never mind. But then we get to meet who is clearly the star of this show. And I hate to say that when we're talking about Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is dead on from right out the gate. We're going to get to the PowerPoint presentation here in a moment. But we get to meet King Shark. And
oh my God.
Every rewatch for this movie, King Shark has climbed my ranks of like favorite character. And it's just because of the subtle stuff he does throughout the movie. It's not like his lines are funny, don't get me wrong, but his mannerisms just destroy me.
We said the bit where he's like, hand. It's like, yes, no way, that is your hand. It's like the really chuffed with himself look that he does after that. It's like, yeah,
yes.
I told you. It was right?
Yep.
Yeah, I made a good point, didn't I?
I just found out as well, the guy who plays Economos was the on-set King Shark as well.
Yeah.
So he was there for the performance of that, and then they had Sylvester Stallone just come in and just talk. How Sylvester Stallone talks.
Yeah, they just had him read some lines, just to see how it sounded.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get to meet King Shark, we get to meet Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, and then we get into this intro for the movie. And like, it really is just very quick, like, all right, we're going to tell you what's going on. We're going to go fight Project Starfish. And then this is where Peacemaker, to me, really starts shining. Like his little bit with Idris Elba before this was okay, but having him suited up and asking questions about starfish is another term for butthole. Do you think it has any meaning?
Think there's any connection? And it's just Amanda Waller just looking at him and just like, no. And he's just like, okay. Like, I mean, you can just see it on Amanda Waller's face in that entire sequence. She's just fed up with these fucking idiots. She's just the whole thing of like, okay, the briefing is done. Can you just fuck off already?
But for me, that's part of the things that I've like, this is like, the podcast will be focusing on Peacemaker, but I think that like this just shows that like he's just an earnest, honest man. He's doing the job and he's taking everything deadly serious, including this. And Amanda Waller's like, just shut up and do whatever you gotta do. And he's like, but I want to do the best I could do.
And he's
you know, it just feels like...
taking notes on a notepad.
Oh yeah. With his big fucking blue gloves on still. He looks so uncomfortable holding the pencil.
It just seems like he wants to get an A+ from the teacher. And that's what I kind of like about it, is that it doesn't matter what it is. He thinks he's doing the best, and he thinks he's also doing good for the world. And that's that's what's funny to me.
I also think there isn't a doubt in his mind that he's like the team leader.
Yeah.
Like, we all know it's Bloodsport. The movie knows it's Bloodsport. Waller knows. Bloodsport knows. Everyone knows that it's Bloodsport, except for Peacemaker, who I'm dead sure is like, no, I'm leading this team. That's why I'm asking the important questions.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you know that he's also just like, and without me, this whole thing falls apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we get done with that scene, and then now we're back in the movie. Like, we're caught up to, they're in the beach, and we have the scene from the trailers that, like, I believe John from our other show, he messaged me after he watched the trailers, like, hey, so do you think John Cena's going to be good in Suicide Squad, or do you think they're just going to cut him out of it? I couldn't tell in the trailer. Like, he wasn't really used much, because he was the entire fucking trailer, and it started with that, like, the beach full of dicks, and it's like,
oh god,
fucking hell.
Yep.
He's just so funny.
Why would someone put penises all over a beach? Who knows what madmen do? Who knows what madmen do? Why madmen do what they do?
But he's willing to make the sacrifice, and that's good.
Yeah, for peace.
And the whole pissing contest between him and Bloodsport is fantastic throughout the entire movie, especially the sequence where like they're taking shots at killing other people, like they're keeping store and trying to one up each other.
God, that sequence is so funny.
And
it's like non-lethal doesn't count, and then it's just like, oh, exploding compression bullet blows up. It's like,
and I forget what the actual line is, but there's something like I forget, it was Bloodsport saying something like, you know, it's not about like one-upping each other or something like that.
No one likes to show off.
No one likes to show off. And then Peacemaker
showing
says,
off his dope as fuck.
And then he says,
you said Bloodsport go,
fuck, it's true.
So good.
Chewie hates that sequence. It's part of the reason she doesn't really like this movie. She's like, because these are the good guys, and they're just murdering a bunch of innocent people.
Yeah.
But they don't know that at the time.
No,
Yeah.
in fact, they were just told, murder everyone. Like, that was their directive. Murder them all.
And again, I think part of it is with that pissing contest is that Peacemaker doesn't. He thinks he's a good guy and hanging out with all these bad guys. So he really like feels like he's you know, he has to watch everybody because he's afraid that they're all going to be evil again, and he's just like, well, I got to watch everybody because these are all bad guys, and I'm the one good guy here.
Yeah,
he's a babysitter.
You can tell that as well.
Yeah.
The way that he's going, where he says like, "I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to get it." And it's like he believes that makes him a good guy because he's doing it for peace. But it doesn't matter because it's for peace. He can kill anyone that he wants for peace.
And then you throw in like the fact that like Idris Elba is blatantly saying, "I don't care what happens to anybody here. I just want to go. I just want to leave and do whatever I want." And you know, then it's like you said, he is the babysitter, but he's that babysitter that is taking it way too serious, and the kids are just walking all over. He's a substitute teacher.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But I also love the way that sequence is capped off. Like, if this was a podcast where we weren't mostly talking about Peacemaker, I think I'd be talking the entire episode about King Shark and Polka Dot Man. But I'm trying to keep it to Peacemaker. But the way that sequence ends with Polka Dot Man throwing his polka dots and frying that watchtower, and just Peacemaker's immediate reaction, he does throw polka dots at people.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
He's just like both like impressed and curious. Like, it's like, oh, I was right. I can't believe that's what it is.
It's like, sorry, it's so flamboyant.
Man, David Desmelchin, like, what a fucking career that guy's had.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I've seen him in.
David Desmelchin, he was in Ant-Man and Wasp and Ant-Man. He's one of the robber gangs there. He was in The Dark Knight. He was in...
That Dark Knight is where I'm thinking I remember him from.
Yeah. So we have the whole murder sequence. They get through all that. Now they're moving on to the next objective because now they have Rick Flag in tow. How Rick Flag talks himself out of that, like, we just murdered your whole town, is beyond me. And he does it mostly by going, they're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. I think my favorite bit in that whole sequence, though, is just where Sawyer's looking at Sebastian and just goes, is that rat waving at me? And Flag's like, I believe it is. Why? Probably because it's friendly.
And I also like that Flag doesn't know these people. Like, Flag knows Bloodsport, and I'm guessing he probably knows Peacemaker just because that's, like, the world that he's in. But I don't think he knows Ratcatcher 2. He hasn't worked with these people, but he's
No.
at least I don't think, based on the context clues we get.
Yeah,
but
I
he
don't
also
think
just
he has
immediately
either.
knows who they are.
He's probably seen, like, dossiers and stuff, like, from previous missions or something.
Yeah,
But
that
I don't
makes
think
sense.
he's ever worked with them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that word, dossier.
Dossier. It's a good one.
Dossier.
I just want to touch on this really quick before we keep moving to more important stuff. But the scene after this one where they finally confront Polka Dot Man, like, what the hell is on you? Like, is this contagious? Am I gonna be in trouble? And they go through the whole backstory. We get that wonderful shot of everyone looking like his mom, including Sebastian
Yes.
the rat, if you zoom in, which is amazing.
I've never noticed Sebastian the Rat, actually. I need to go back and
Oh,
look
yeah,
at that
wearing a
frame.
little cardigan and has little glasses on the end of their nose. It's adorable. But the best part to me of that whole sequence is fucking King Shark.
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man is going this very long explanation of his interdimensional, like, disease that he has, and then whenever they show King Shark, he's nodding along like he's paying attention. It's just like, it just kills me. The physicality of King Shark is just absolutely my favorite thing. So now we're moving on to where they're going to go to the that nightclub to try to catch the Thinker. Forgetting his name in this.
Oh yes, that's oh yeah,
Oh, shit. I forgot his actual... It's Peter Capaldi, but I forgot
Capaldi, yeah,
the
Capaldi.
character's name.
Well, he's the Thinker. We'll call him the
Gaius
Thinker.
Greaves. Gaius Greaves.
Thank you, Greaves. That's what they keep calling him. But we can call him Thinker. We can call him Peter Capaldi. Whatever. They're going to go catch him, and we get another amazing King Shark moment of he wants to go with. It's like, wear a disguise, fake mustache. And just when he comes up behind Bloodsport with it just over his mouth, I still can tell who you are. And just this stomping away. Fuck! God, he's great in this movie. But then when they're going into town, we start getting, like, really comic book stuff. And I really, like, I love the Ratcatcher 2 backstory. Like, that's where we get Taika Waititi in the movie. And it's so, the way it's done, the way it's shot, and, like, the effects of having it, like, in the panels of the window, like, it just feels so comic booky. I love
Yeah.
it. Like, it's just so cool.
It's
And
like
in that
a
sequence, you have, like, the
legitimate-
shots of King Shark through the bus window, and it's like, he looks so real, it's kind of freaky.
Mm.
I definitely like that we got Taika Waititi though.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
That's a good cameo.
I'm one of those people who's getting a little burnt out on Taika, like, because he's kind of everywhere right now. And I say that as somebody who's had a podcast dedicated to one of his shows. But when he's good, man, he's great. It's tough to get entirely burnt out on him because he's usually great.
Yeah.
Well, I like little cameos here and there, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
See him for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, you know, in this film that's kind of it does a good mixture between the sort of, like, serious drama and the balls to the wall comedy. It gets a really good balance, I think, because of, like, scenes like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And we don't, and you know, we get enough backstory to care about the characters. We don't need a full movie or its own thing. We just need, like, the cliff notes, and then it feels like it's enough to, like, grab onto those characters for the most part. Peacemaker is the one of the exceptions where we don't get, like, a backstory, but at the same time, like, his larger than life personality is enough to carry us through this film.
Yeah, I just don't think it's that movie, and I think it's better for it. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you don't need to have much attachment to these characters. You just need to be along for the ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and by the time the movie came out, we knew Peacemaker had a show in the works. I think the trailer had already come out. So, like, I was okay knowing that he didn't have much character arc in this because I knew it was coming in the show later. Which I know doesn't it's not really a good excuse for the movie. I'm not a big fan of that idea in movies, but I think it kind of worked in this situation.
I just think that his personality carried it enough that like oh, I care about him just because he's bonkers.
I think that's the thing of it. Like, you know, everything he sort of sets up who he is in that very first scene. Like, you know, that pissing contest with Bloodsport, where he's basically like saying, "Oh, I shoot my targets more in the center." You know, that he very much sets up kind of like who he is quite well in that, and you don't necessarily need the full backstory of how he got there. And then, you know, like Peacemaker the series is like a nice sort of like complement to where you get more detail, and then you can kind of see like, oh, okay, just kind of see why he is that way, but you don't need it in the film.
Absolutely
not. So after this, we have them in the captivity where they have that really just amazingly badass moment of like to kill a man with one hit. And then as they're talking, you realize all three of them know exactly what they're talking about. And then on one, bam! And just one of my favorite shots in the entire movie is the security cam of what's going on back there. And they turn on the camera. You just have Peacemaker picking up a shotgun and pointing it right behind the driver. It's just like, this is just so insane. Like,
I mean, I love the line as well, where it's like, that's what they all say. Who? Amateurs. It's about the death touch thing. It's so fucking good.
Just so well done.
Yeah.
How Peacemaker doesn't lose his arm while throwing that car off the hill with his arm sticking through a bullet hole is beyond me. But you know, whatever. I can get there. He had survived getting shot in the neck and he got shot in the neck and had a building dropped on him, and he survived that too. So maybe I should
suspend disbelief.
Yeah. But then after that, we find out we get to go pick up Harley Quinn. And we haven't really talked about it, but nestled in Suicide Squad, we get our own little Harley Quinn movie.
She's been I'm kind of burnt out on Harley Quinn, but the things that I do like about Harley Quinn in all of the movies that she's been in is that there has been a slow progressive arc.
Yeah.
Throughout all of them that have kind of pushed her in a direction that I appreciate.
I love Harley Quinn. I have Harley Quinn on a whole bunch of my stuff. Like, she's everywhere. And I really like Margot Robbie's take on it. So having this little Harley Quinn movie nestled in Suicide Squad, I actually thought was kind of the best way to deal with her being on Suicide Squad. Because I'm one of those rare people who, like, I'm not a big fan of Harley being on that team. Like, for me, she's never been the best member of Suicide Squad. I like Suicide Squad without Harley.
But that's all the comic Ben has turned into, is that it's just a Harley Quinn team up.
Exactly. And that's not what I want. That's not what I read Suicide Squad for. Like, I read Suicide Squad for these other characters. And like, don't get me wrong, it's great, but without her, the book doesn't sell as much. So I get why she's there. But with all that in mind, I think that's why I love this movie as much as I do. Cause I think they also kind of got that, because they give us a Suicide Squad movie and then a little Harley Quinn movie. Then they kind of meet up with each other for the end. And I think that's possibly the best way to handle it.
I also love as well that it wasn't the typical sort of damsel in distress thing. She gets herself out, and then they're about to go in to rescue her, and she's like, "I can go back inside if you want." And then you just hear Bloodsport. I only caught it the last time I watched it, actually. As he comes off the road, he goes, "That's not patronizing at all."
So, Joel, for since you haven't experienced it, in the first Suicide Squad movie, she is dating the Joker and he is kind of abusive, and then in the Harley Quinn movie she has broken up with him and it's her trying to get over those negative feelings, and by this point she is fully moving on.
Is there any story arc where they have a respectful relationship with each other? Like,
no.
Okay. It's just, I was curious. They know what they have with Harley Quinn as a character, and they amp everything up to 11 with her. I mean, her interactions with all these characters, including El Presidente, were great. But then you get to like the things like the fight sequence, right? And it turns from Kill Bill to this wild, like, Disney flowery sequence that's happening as she's murdering people.
It's got like an animated bird at one point as well, literally just flying.
Yes,
it does. That reacts to the murders. Like, as she's murdering people, the bird's like, "Oh God," and like tries to like shield its eyes.
Right, and that's where the whole, like, her having her own movie thing is apt because everything else is just a bloody violent mess and just a bloody violent mess. And they really amp the style up to 11 whenever she's on screen. And it's got to be said, the whole Lance ongoing like joke
Her mission from God
is spectacular. it's such a great little wrinkle for her to have included.
They have really like played with her crazy in a way that's been interesting. And then also again, like the idea that she, like it has been like since her character creation, it has been that she has been only the sidekick to Joker for like ever. And it hasn't been until like the last, 5 years or so, maybe 10 years that she has really come out as being like I'm going to grow up. And that's what you see in this movie is you see her saying like, oh, you know, like she's like kind of really into El Presidente. And then all of a sudden goes, oh, I'm starting to see red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like killing children.
I like that. I like that version of Harley though that has grown up. Like I love the Harley Quinn animated series, which is
oh my God,
you know you
so
have
good.
her when she's grown up, and I think the problem with the Harley Quinn thing, like you see like these couples like, oh, we're just like Harley and the Joker. It's like fucking hell, that's not a good relationship at all.
No, be like Harley and Poison Ivy. That's your career
exactly.
goal. Like there you go.
That is a good relationship. That's a loving relationship.
But this sequence in the middle of the movie is also where the point where my thought went to like, you know, I'm not sure this could have worked really good as like a 6 or 8 episode miniseries instead of a movie as well, just because it felt very whiplashy, the way they sort of bounce back and forth between them.
And I could argue, and I think the title cards are kind of a tip off to this. I think this movie's structured like an arc in a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So like usually most comic book stories can be somewhere between like 4 to like 10 issues. Sometimes they'll go 12. Sometimes they'll go way longer. But it's usually like a pretty self-contained story. Like even within like ongoing Batman that has, you know, thousands of issues at this point, there'll still be like a 10-issue arc. And I feel like this movie tried to encapsulate that. Like this is just a tiny arc of the Suicide Squad. So whenever you get like a title card, it's like a new issue.
Those title cards are awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
They are really cool.
Like
and
art installations.
It feels like a comic book cover. Like you're saying, it feels like, oh, this is the next issue. And like, you know, and I get that. And I think it's the only comic book film I've ever sort of like seen that does that actually takes the comic book level to 100 and be like, no, let's do this like a comic book. You know, you've got your title card, you've got your issue covers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it works. Like the very last one, like we're getting ahead of myself a little bit because I'm trying to make sure we stay on time. The last one of the Suicide Squad or Starro versus the Suicide Squad. I'm like, I could see that as a cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it would look great. But before we get to that, we should probably finish up with Peacemaker because Peacemaker does have some moments here at the end, right before the end, and it's kind of a bummer. He definitely goes full bad guy, and he doesn't think he's being the bad guy, but he definitely is. Where they found that the U.S. government was very, very heavily involved in Project Starfish, and Rick Flag is like, "My government's doing what? The people need to know." And Peacemaker's like, "I had a second job here, and it's to make sure you don't do what you're about to do." And the fight between fucking Rick Flag and Peacemaker is so good, like.
It's brutal.
The way it's reflected, that the first bit of the fight as well, where they reflect it in Peacemaker's helmet that's just on the ground.
Yes, that shot is incredible.
And the camera spin around. So fucking good. Like I always look at it and go, how did they do that? Like they must have just shot it as normal and then used like CGI to put that into the helmet.
Impose it on there.
Yeah,
there's no way that you could shoot it with a camera like the reflection. That would be an absolute nightmare to choreograph.
Oh, yeah. And even like this, I'm sure it was still a nightmare to choreograph.
Yeah.
They're still planning for the shot later. But like the entire fight is it's just brutal. And unfortunately, we all know where it's going. Like as soon as the fight starts, it's like, I know who has a show after this and I know who doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, did James Gunn just make me care about Rick Flag of all characters?
I
don't even remember him in the
this
comics
film
that much.
well.
He's barely in the comics. He's not a major character. Like this isn't so. I don't think there's anyone out there with a Rick Flag tattoo. Like no one cares about Rick Flag. And then fucking James Gunn went and made me care about Rick Flag. When he gets stabbed in the chest, like I was legitimately upset. And then he just rocks Peacemaker at the end with that Peacemaker. What a joke.
Yeah.
Fuck. And like I remember like watching that the first time. I'm like, oh, I think we just got the pilot to Peacemaker right here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your character development is starting right now. And it does, like, because now so he kills him, and then he has to chase Ratcatcher 2 through the building that's crumbling down, and he's like, he has a gun on her, and she's like, fine, you win, take the drive, you win. Why do you have to kill me? And you can see that look in Peacemaker's eyes of like, why do I?
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
No, this is who I am. I'm thorough. And it's like, oh, he's starting to change.
He's starting to question some of those core beliefs that he, had, where it ended up being the there's no question what I would do for peace, and now he's starting to question like, well, I don't know if I want to do this for peace.
Yeah, and like the line, I don't remember the exact word for it. I didn't write this one down because my notes have ended by this point. I'm sucked into the movie. But that moment where he's like, why are you doing this? Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm watching that and like, oh wow, John Cena can actually act. Like, he's not just a funny guy. Like, he can legitimately act. And I think that's later confirmed when we watch Peacemaker the show. But at this point, I really hadn't seen anything with him beyond being the funny guy or the wrestling guy. Like, I didn't really know him elsewhere.
Yeah, this is like his I'm becoming The Rock, or I'm becoming what's his name? It was Drax. Like, he's like, he needs to. He's starting to. He's starting to get like those the actual moments that he's been like wanting. It's like, this is where I'm gonna actually get some kudos here. I'm going to show off some chops, and then it actually did, and it was impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he did a good job.
It's always weird as well when you see like wrestlers and you start thinking, oh my god, they can actually act, and then you realize, well, actually, yeah, of course they can. They've been fucking acting their entire wrestling career anyway.
I mean,
but that doesn't mean that they're doing it correctly, or like
Have you? Have you seen a Stone Cold Steve Austin movie? I mean.
Unfortunately, I've also seen the Hulk Hogan act. Oof.
That's what I mean. Is that like, I don't know, maybe.
I mean, that's my point though. Like, of course, you're gonna get some of the wrestlers that can act. Most of them, like, nobody's gonna be queuing up to watch a Hardy Boys film or something.
I mean, I wouldn't watch that anyway, but
yeah, no, that's not. But what we're saying is John Cena can act, and throughout the majority of the movie, he's kind of a goofball. But at the very end, he really had to bring it, and he fucking met the occasion. Like, he did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's shot in the neck, and so long, Peacemaker. We'll see you in the TV show.
I love that sequence though, where you actually see them shooting, and like the level of detail they actually went into making sure that it's kind of a believable thing that it would happen. So, like, because Peacemaker's shooting like a hollow point. And Bloodsport's shooting like a full metal jacket armor piercing around, so it would, if you were to somehow manage to shoot them both at each other, Bloodsport's bullet would just go through Peacemaker's.
And it's a wonderful callback to their conversation earlier about how,
I'll shoot my bullets through, like, through your bullets or something. Use smaller bullets.
Right.
Doesn't he realize that as he gets shot? He's like, oh man, that was cool, or something like that.
Well, he asks how, and Bloodsport just hits him with the same line: smaller bullets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like, ooh,
because it goes through his gun as well. It goes right down the barrel of his gun and through his gun into his neck.
As soon as that slow motion starts, you know exactly where it's going. That's the best part about it.
It's like, oh no, bye, Peacemaker.
For now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one problem with knowing he has a show after this is like, well, he'll be fine. And then you see the whole building crash down. It's like, will he?
It could be a prequel show. I don't know.
That's honestly, that was a split second when I thought. I was like, oh, this must be a prequel. Until he's like, no, I doubt it. He's not. And you confirm it later, because when they're trying to go back and fight that big behemoth monster, and they're all running away, and Amanda Waller's just like ready to flip the switch to kill them, Peacemaker's profile is still lit up.
Yep. And I noticed it this time. I was like, oh, he can still be killed.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that as well. It is one of those films where the more you watch it, the more you pick up on stuff you didn't notice before. Like, and it's great when you get a film like that where rewatching it is actually, it's not just, you're not just rewatching the same thing over and over. You're rewatching it and you're picking up stuff you missed the first time.
Yeah, this one, and it's unfortunately due to the pandemic, this movie was clearly made for like a theater experience. Because when I've watched this at work and like I've put it on a theatrical screen, I'm like, you see so much more. Like it is clearly meant to be seen as big as possible, which the pandemic kind of shut down. I didn't get to see it in the theater till I had to bring it to work on my own. Which is a bummer.
I imagine that's probably why I've never noticed the Sebastian Rat mum thing.
Yeah, that's the first time I noticed it was in a theater.
Yeah.
And then later it was confirmed on Reddit when a lot of people zoomed in and saw it. It's pretty cute. But let's talk just a little bit about the end of this movie before we get to our wrap up.
I did want to say that you in any comic book movie, Marvel, DC, otherwise, you know that a character's not dead until they are very like, not any of these movies, they're always like, well, you see body parts or you see them dead. If you don't see their body, they are not dead.
Yeah, I learned that with was it Game of Thrones? I think was like the first one. I'm like, oh, that's very, or might have been Sopranos. I don't remember, but some TV show. I'm like, oh yeah, if you don't see the corpse, they're probably not dead. All right, but let's talk a little bit about the end of this thing, because we are talking about the Suicide Squad. I know Peacemaker's gone and out of it, but we got to talk about Starro at least a little bit, because Starro is a character that, you know, as a comic book fan, I'm like, well, I'll never get him in a movie, because why would anyone put Starro in a movie? That would be ridiculous.
Yep.
And then here it is.
And then James Gunn was like, hold my beer.
Yeah. Oh, I should put Starros in a movie because it would be ridiculous. And he was right. And it's a very different version of Starro than I know. Like Starro that I know is like the stars can be removed from your faces. You're not just permanently dead whenever they get attached onto you, which is, I like it both ways. I'm not like critiquing one or the other. I think they both work. He also seems a little smarter in the books. But he's, I think, a lot younger here, so that also kind of works.
From my understanding, it kind of felt like this Starro had been in captivity for a long time. So obviously, it's a little like brain dead, a little bit like, you know, not really all the way with it. And at the same time,
Flashpoint Superman, but a Starro.
Yeah, and also very, very mad and very angry. So I can imagine a world where it can control whether those stars can kill people, but it's not. It definitely does not want to do that at this point.
That's an interesting point. I didn't really think about that. That could totally work.
Yeah.
On that thing, it doesn't even bother to put one on Thinker. It literally like tears his arm and his leg off, and then like splats him against the glass.
Well, I want to comment on that. There was a reason for that. That the Tinkerer had been sexually assaulting Starro for what felt like decades.
Yeah. They make that pretty clear. He was about as bad as they come.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just love the way just like when there's like the Starro victim thing says that, and he just cuts to Thinker, and he just sort of like shrugs his shoulders and like gives a little smile, like, ugh.
Capaldi plays a hell of a bad guy. Like
he does.
He really does.
Like a real creep.
Yeah, that's partially why he's one of my favorite doctors, because he plays a really good bad guy. But him getting splattered on the wall was just like, it almost felt like therapy. He was just, he's such a horrible dude, and just seeing him just like plop like a balloon, I'm like, bad guys can lose. See you later, fuckface. I also just love that he had to go through the agony of having his limbs ripped off first. It's like, fuck you.
Oh yeah, you got to make it as painful as possible. You deserve.
Of course.
And it was kind of like, you know, it was using the sort of like the abusive relationship kind of things. Like, I'm sorry. I went too far. I won't do it again. Like, you know, trying to talk his way out of it. And I think that's why Starro at the very end does actually, fucking, I'm going to rip your arms off. I'm not just going to kill you. I'm going to make you suffer even more. Yeah. Because he's still trying to talk Starro into basically letting him continually abuse it.
What a dick.
Gaslighting Starro.
Yep. But then the fight with Starro, I think, is amazing. It's very reminiscent of like the New York City battle to me from like the first Avengers. Like, this is just an excellent showcase of a team up of superheroes, or villains in this case, like taking on like one central target with some drones involved too. Like, I think this is like comic book making 101. Like, this is exactly what you want to see out of this sort of movie. But it also means, like, for our purposes on this show, there's not really much to talk about, because like we're not here to talk about that sort of movie. But I can say the ending, I think, nails it. It doesn't have that like Wonder Woman whiplash of like, wait, why are we watching a different movie all of a sudden in the third act? Like, it still feels like it works the whole way through.
Also, A+ CGI, which is not always an expectation.
No, you never have that moment of disbelief in this one. Like, they made meticulous care on their CGI, which I think is great.
I do love the line that Ratcatcher has, where you have the little flashback to when Ratcatcher 2 was like really young, and she's like, "Why rats, Papa?" And he just says like, "Rats are the lowliest and most despised of all creatures, my love. But if they have purpose, so do we all." And I just love that. Like,
it's so good.
It's so nice. And then you cut back to Ratcatcher 2, and the look on her face of like this sort of thing of like, yeah, see, Papa, I'm proving that rats do have a purpose, and it's really well done. Is that?
Yeah, just incredibly well done. And the only complaint I have to that whole thing is I don't get why the Starro people fall down the second a rat jumps on them. It looks a little weird. I don't get why it's happening.
I noticed that too.
It's like my only complaint in the entire sequence is like, wait, why are you falling down? What knocked you over?
Yeah. They're very, very strong rats in Corto Maltese.
I mean, I've had a lot of pet rats. Rats are stronger than you'd expect. They're not that strong.
But have you ever had a Corto Maltesian rat?
No, I guess I have not. It's a very fair point. I'll keep that in mind when the next time I go for rats. I need a Corto Maltesian rat, please. And they'll say, "Good luck."
No, they'll just turn at you and go, "A what?"
A who? I think we've done it. I think we've covered as much as we can of this movie while still trying to stay as faithful to our Peacemaker show as possible. Let's move into some favorite moments and or quotes. Matt, I know you had a shitload, and I think you're the only one who's seen it as many times as I have, so I'm going to let you go first.
It's not a toilet seat, it's a beacon for freedom.
Oh, that's a good one. Especially when you go to like one of the first title cards we got was a toilet seat that looked exactly like the Peacemaker helmet.
It does. It's just how annoyed he is, though. I think that's great. Because that's the one thing that has actually pushed him to be pissed off. Because like throughout the whole film, he's not really been, nothing's really annoyed him or anything like that. He's always thrown it back as whatever. But that actually pisses him off.
Well, I think in that sequence, he's just pissed off because they're going off mission to go save Harley. And then he gets the ding about the helmet S2, and he's like, "Ah!
Stop making fun of me, guys."
I think I'm just going to go for a sequence instead of a quote. I have so many quotes. My go-to quote, I guess I'll say it because I'm already just kind of talking about it, is the "Did anyone check on if Weasel could swim?" This is such a good intro. But if I had to pick something just as my favorite throughout the whole thing, it's got to be the Harley Quinn movie. I mentioned earlier that I love Harley Quinn so much. And it doesn't really hold any of my favorite characters from the movie, doesn't hold any of that, but just the amount of character development they show that happened off screen, but it still feels like it's happening in this movie is so unbelievably well done. And it just, as a Harley Quinn fan, it just warmed my heart. And I loved the whole thing. Like, all of it is just so good. The torture sequence, her shooting the president, her entire speech about when you have taste in men as bad as I do, you gotta kill them. Like, it's just so good. And I think Margot Robbie just crushed it in this movie. And she's crushed it from the beginning as Harley Quinn, but like this was like the ultimate performance for her. So I'll give it up for that. Joel, what about you?
This is hard to describe here or to pick. I think my true ones probably, we already talked through the "fuck that's true" line, but but I do love Harley Quinn's moment where it's like, "Oh, what's with the javelin? I'm waiting for God to tell me." Jesus Christ. Yeah, or him, or any of them really. She and the thing is, like, she sells it so serious, and so it is this weird dissonance that I find really funny. I'm gonna cheat and do another one, which is at the end fight. Peacemaker looks at the shark, and he just looks at him and says, "Monster nom noms." Then it's a funny thing because it reminds me of the Avengers where Captain America says, "Hulk, smash." It's very akin to that, but it killed me. It was very funny.
Yeah. Monster is nom nom. Nom nom.
I just love the nom nom. God, Bloodsport's like coaching there at the end is just so good. Monster is Dum Gnome. Polka Dot Man, it's your mom.
Yes. Yes.
You see what it is? It's your mom. And then Polka Dot Man, I'm a superhero.
Like,
I'm a motherfucking super. And just a look on. The look on Bloodspot's face, like, oh fuck.
I was like that Star was like, oh, that guy can't stick around. He can do damage.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, new co-host. You get to go last. What's up?
I definitely like the unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck. But the other part I do want to say is that we didn't really talk about the nightclub dance scene, where you get Polka Dot Man dancing with his mom.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Like everybody in the club is his mom, and he's just really like having a great time, which kind of gives like a little bit of like a, an Oedipus complex there, of course, which is what I found a little bit more fascinating was like, oh, maybe it's like there's more. I mean, obviously he's got, some psychological issues where everything is like his mother, but it also then you throw in the
well
fact that,
balanced
like,
human being.
But then you throw in the fact that like he also still has to like date and like be romantic, and in that case there has to be something there that's like, yeah, sometimes your mom's a love interest too.
Oof.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
I think I'd just be celibate. I think.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's what I thought about in that nightclub scene. I was like, oh, there's some other stuff going on here. And that, you know what? I appreciate when in these like little small moments you still throw in a hidden message or something like that, and it's like, oh, that's kind of fascinating.
Also, since you're bringing up that sequence, just a big shout out to the actress who played his mom. Like, she did so good. She had to do all those different parts, all those different costumes, all those different dances. Like,
had to be a giant Godzilla monster.
yeah, and she did great. Like, she was perfect.
Yeah.
The sequence. I will say one thing we didn't really talk about is the sequence where it starts raining when they're just about to attack Jotunheim.
Ooh.
That looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that it's shot, and they're walking out of the rain, out of the thick rain, like it's fog as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that sequence. Like, it's just so violent.
Yeah. Visceral.
Like where Flag like kills like 2 people with 1 shotgun shot, and it like just rips through both of them. I fucking love that. Another thing I want to mention, because I anyone who's listened to any of our podcasts long enough knows that I really dig like film scores, and a lot of what the music I listen to is film scores. The score for this film is brilliant. Like it gets the tone of the sequence that it's in really perfectly. Like, when you've got the more sort of like maudlin and dramatic things, the score really sort of digs deep in that, and then in the other stuff, the other like sort of like the more light-hearted or like, it's an action film kind of thing, it's got some incredible sequences. Like there's I think it's the first track on the soundtrack, it's called like Meet the Suicide Squad or something. It is absolutely brilliant, and it's basically like the opening, like the main sort of like that sort of like action beat, I think, when they get to the beach, I believe.
Oh yeah. The music in this is incredible, and like the music, the effects, the costumes. Like, this is just an all around, I think, just very solid movie. And I'm glad we did it for our Peacemaker show. But we should probably start wrapping up. Let's move into plugs for this show and every show on the ATH network. Be sure to check out athpod.com. I have to say, not the other show anymore, because Damage Boost is back. And we are very excited to have Brock back and recording, and he's got a whole bunch of episodes locked and ready to go, and very, very happy to have him back. So be sure to check out Damage Boost. And then if you want to hear me as a bullywug, be sure to check out Demon Days, an actual play podcast where I do the intros. I have nothing to do with the rest of the show, but I do the intros, and I spend a lot of time on them, so at least enjoy those. Let's let Alex do some plugs. Alex, what you plugging?
Well, me and Joel have a podcast called Super GG Radio, where we talk about beta testing video games. Also, you can find us on Twitter at Super GG Radio, or me on Twitter. It is Orona Alex, 0 RONALEX.
Awesome. Joel, do you want to tell us about your Dune podcast?
Sure. So my wife and I do a podcast called Afterthoughts, where we talk about good books.
Shit!
Whoa!
I just finished Dune. It's pretty good. Dune's pretty good.
We are actually close to doing a recording about Shinichi and Teen Arthur Court. It is a very good.
That doesn't sound like Dune.
It's a very good audiobook. It's been really fun listening to that and fishing in near Replicant. So that's been my jam lately.
I've been listening to The Martian on audiobook, and that's really good. It's Will Wheaton who does the narration as well, so
that's
it's not
cool.
just it's really good, and he acts the hell out of some of it, to be fair. Like
Matt, what are you plugging?
the Martian audiobook, it's really good.
That's what he's plugging.
Do you have anything else you need to plug, Matt? Do you want to talk about your airsofting article? Is that coming out anytime soon?
I'm going to be uploading it soon. I'm just looking for like photos and stuff to put in the article, and then I'm going to be uploading it to the site, and then it can be proofread. And then you can get rid of all the U's from my word.
Well, Emily doesn't really work with us anymore, so we don't have her policing all the improper U's. You dang British people and your
the correct
misuse
U's.
of you. I mean,
The
you're
correct
probably
U's.
right.
Color is spelled without a U.
Color is spelled with a U. So is flavor, all of them.
Flavor?
Yeah,
Flavor spelled with a U?
I think so.
Oh, that one's new to me.
Maybe.
But then again, I'm American. I just spell everything wrong.
Yeah, flavors with a U.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
This culture shock is it's amazing. I think we should just leave on the culture shock. So thank you everyone so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next week when we start Peacemaker. Peacemaker #1. I'm so excited. It's a great show.
A whole new world.
No.
No,
That is the name of the episode.
That's the name of the episode. It's literally called A Whole New World, as in world.
All right, bye.